Okay, so PG Sebastian gets asked this question constantly. I mean, it feels like maybe the most existential question in relationships today.
Absolutely. It really just boils down to, how do I spice up my sex life? You know, put some fire back into it.
Right, that desire for spice.
It's huge.
Yeah.
Drives whole industries, really. But here's the thing. The big counterintuitive point PG Sebastian makes right out of the gate,
Which is?
that the answer most people think they want, the quick fix, the new toy, the technique, it's usually the wrong answer.
Like putting a Band-Aid on something much deeper.
Exactly. They're treating a systemic issue, something rooted in the relationship itself, with well, a superficial fix.
Okay, let's unpack that right away, because PG Sebastian really argues, doesn't he, that if you don't look at this holistically, you're just going to keep chasing those quick fixes.
And they won't last. He says the real lasting spice, it comes from the intangibles, the stuff you can't just buy or learn in 5 minutes.
The relationship itself.
Precisely. So our mission today in this deep dive is to really explore those powerful intangibles, things like trust, communication, emotional health.
And show how the bedroom is basically just reflecting the health of the whole marriage.
That's the core idea. This is where the real work happens.
All right, let's start right there at the foundation. If the relationship is the bedrock, what does Sebastian say about its structure impacting intimacy?
Well, what's fascinating is how directly he puts it. He says the nature, the quality of sex between a couple, it's a direct reflection of their overall interpersonal relationship.
So good relationship, potentially good sex life, bad relationship.
It mirrors it. A healthy sex life doesn't cause the healthy relationship, it reflects it. If there's tension, arguments, distance outside the bedroom, it's going to show up inside too.
But why do so many couples miss that connection? Why keep searching for, like, a new position instead of having that difficult conversation?
Because maybe the link feels subtle, but it's incredibly practical. PG Sebastian points out that a healthy relationship creates that essential bridge for communication about sex.
Ah, the safety aspect.
Exactly. You feel safe enough to talk about desires, preferences, hopes, even the awkward stuff, your fears or vulnerabilities around sex.
Without worrying you'll be judged or shut down.
Right. Think about it. Like you said, if you're fighting about money every night, are you really going to feel safe suggesting something really out there, maybe even a bit vulnerable, an hour later in bed?
Probably not. The risk of rejection feels way too high.
Yeah. And Sebastian shows how really everything from, deep, slow lovemaking.
To that kinky lunchtime rendezvous he mentioned.
Right. Even that relies on the trust and communication you've built outside that specific moment.
That makes sense. And this connects to a distinction PG Sebastian makes, too, about why we're having sex.
Yes, the difference between sex for procreation and sex for companionship.
Walk us through that difference.
Okay, so sex for procreation, it's kind of mandatory if you want kids, right? It's goal-oriented, necessary.
Got it.
But sex for companionship, for fun, for bonding, for recreation, PG Sebastian says that's purely a byproduct of how healthy the relationship actually is.
So if the relationship's just running on autopilot, paying bills, managing kids, but there's no real soul connection,
then that bonding kind of sex, it starts to feel like a chore, an obligation.
You want that deep connection, that expression of just pure desire. But you can't force it if the day-to-day emotional interaction is, well, minimal or just full of friction.
And that leads to what Sebastian calls a weak bond, low companionship, and a missing sense of us.
That sense of us, that feels really important.
It is. If the U.S. has kind of dissolved into just two people sharing a house and maybe raising kids, the intimacy is almost certainly suffering.
So we need to ask you, the listener, right now, is your intimate life maybe feeling a bit flat because that foundational sense of us has faded in the daily grind?
Because according to PG Sebastian, that's where the real renovation needs to start. Not with a new technique, but with rebuilding that us.
Okay, so moving from that relationship foundation, Sebastian then focuses hard on knowledge, both self-knowledge and partner knowledge.
Yeah, his point is you can't give what you don't know. And ignorance in this area, it often leads to, well, maybe arrogance or just assumptions.
The danger being prejudice, right? Making generalizations.
Exactly. Sebastian calls out that risk, thinking things like, oh, all men want it rough, or even worse, believing that all women orgasm after just pounding away.
Which is just not true and relies on faulty, generalized ideas instead of actual intimacy.
Right. And the antidote, it's intimate observation, it's actual conversation. But crucially, before you can really observe your partner well,
You need to know yourself. Sebastian insists on that. Man, know yourself.
if you don't know what truly turns you on, what
Yeah.
your real desires are, separate from what society tells you, how can you possibly communicate that confidently? Or even fully let go yourself?
Good point. So know yourself first. Then turn that attention to your partner.
And Sebastian gets quite practical here. It's about knowing your partner's body, their anatomy, but way beyond the obvious stuff.
Not just textbook diagram.
No, it's about focused, intimate exploration, paying attention.
It's the details, the nuance, like go beyond just knowing, oh, she likes her breasts touched. Sebastian suggests exploring everywhere, from the crown of the hair to the soles of the feet.
Finding out where to linger, where to be light, what specific combination of touches and foreplay can, as he puts it, wake up your sex life to a new dawn.
That kind of deep knowledge isn't accidental, it takes intention.
Definitely. But even that specific knowledge, that detailed map of pleasure, it can only really be shared and used effectively if the core pillars are there.
Mutual respect, honesty, trust. Sebastian calls these non-negotiables.
Absolutely. That's the intangible power of integrity in the relationship. He notes that even if technically things aren't perfect, the bedroom can still feel amazing if that fundamental trust and respect are solid.
But the opposite is also true. If there's bitterness, anger, unresolved stuff,
That anxiety, that resentment, it just messes with your head. It stops you from being fully present in that and-now-W moment, as he calls it.
you just can't let go and be truly vulnerable if you're feeling angry or insecure with the person touching you.
No way. And speaking of letting go, we kind of have to touch on a very tangible thing PG Sebastian brings up. Physical respect, personal hygiene.
Ah, yes. This is so fundamental, but maybe gets overlooked sometimes.
It seems so. And Sebastian is really direct about it. He talks about, the bushy valley and a not-so-pleasant smelling stream.
He doesn't mince words.
No, his point is, if a partner has to literally turn their head away, hold their breath, or just subconsciously waiting for it to be over because the basic physical environment isn't, welcoming.
You've basically put up a huge primal barrier.
A massive disincentive. No amount of emotional connection is going to easily overcome that strong physical pushback. Hygiene is just basic respect in this context.
So if someone's just enduring foreplay because of lacking physical maintenance, they're tolerating, not participating.
Exactly. The message from PG Sebastian is crystal clear. Romance can't thrive if basic physical consideration is missing. Period.
Okay, that really sets the stage then for talking about communication and trying new things. Once the foundation's solid, the respect is there, you can start listening differently.
Listening to the silent conversation, as Sebastian puts it. Making love involves everything, all the senses. And communication isn't just words.
It's the nonverbal stuff.
Totally. Partners give cues constantly, even when they're silent. How they shift in bed, how they respond or don't to certain touches, where they might guide your hand.
Even those dark, dirty, mumble-jumble moments he mentions?
Even that. The key advice is simple. Tag along. Follow their lead. Pay attention. Respond.
It's like an intimate dance, constantly reading your partner, reading the energy.
Exactly. And once you're both speaking that sort of fluent, intimate language, then you can start thinking about trying something new.
Breaking the routine.
Yes. Sebastian encourages trying new styles, different locations, different times of day, the kitchen, the shower. He even mentions the car.
With a little light-hearted warning about local law enforcement, depending on where you are.
Haha, right. But the principle is the thrill of breaking out of the same old routine.
But trying new things, especially if they push boundaries a bit, requires careful navigation, doesn't it? Finding that equilibrium, particularly with moral or religious views.
Oh, absolutely crucial. Sebastian is really emphatic here. He says partners shouldn't just dig in their heels demanding something new or flat out denying it without a real conversation.
Negotiation has to happen, openly, honestly.
And how you introduce these new ideas is also key. Sebastian stresses doing it gently and, importantly, before you're actually in the bedroom.
Right, not springing something intense mid-act.
No. Maybe share an article you read, watch something together, talk about a hypothetical, gauge the reaction when the pressure is completely off.
Because, well, a surprise can be nice sometimes.
It can also lead to someone feeling, as he says, rudely shocked. And that's not the goal. The goal is mutual enjoyment, not a relationship crisis.
And this preparation, this setting the stage, it actually starts way earlier in the day.
Hours before, Sebastian reminds us sex starts in the mind and in the morning. It's not like flipping a switch at 11 p.m.
Daytime foreplay, so important, especially for busy couples.
Little things,
Yeah.
cute comments, suggestive texts during the day, and maybe most importantly, actively avoiding those needless arguments that kill the mood.
And he gives specific advice, particularly to men, about chipping in with evening chores.
Yes, helping relieve your partner's burden. That physical support, that teamwork, it actually creates potentially excess energy and time at hand for another relaxing but strenuous activity, like sex.
Huh. I like how he puts that. It makes total sense, though. Sharing the load frees up energy.
And the whole ambiance reflects that emotional prep work. The vibe of the home is critical. Sebastian argues a tension-free home is just naturally a better place for vulnerability and letting go.
A drama-free home.
Is a home for dramatic sex, in his words. You remove that psychological friction, that underlying tension, and you massively increase the chances for a spontaneous, satisfying connection.
And that psychological comfort links back to physical readiness, too, right? He touches briefly on healthy living.
Yeah, basic stuff, but important. Stamina, libido, even how your breath smells or body fluids taste.
Yeah.
It's all impacted by your health choices.
Sebastian is pretty clear. If you're not interested in your overall health, it's going to negatively impact your sex life eventually.
It's just an undeniable link between body, mind, and desire.
Okay, but let's get back to escaping the routine for a sec. Location, location, location. Sebastian seems pretty keen on this.
Oh yeah, he really stresses the need to travel sometimes. Not just for weddings or funerals, but specifically for, as he puts it, sex for shiggy reasons.
Which basically means
Just sex for the sheer fun and freedom of it. Getting away from the usual constraints, saving up for a weekend out of town, maybe splurging on a nice hotel.
where you can scream your heads out, as he says, instead of feeling like you have to be quiet, like you're stealing it.
Exactly, that removal of the everyday inhibitions, that can be a huge injection of spice all by itself.
And that freedom connects to spontaneity back home, too. Not letting sex become too predictable, too regimented.
Yeah, have your planned deep sessions, sure. But also be open to the impulse. Seeing your partner looking amazing, all sweaty, hot, and devourable, leaning over the kitchen counter.
That should maybe lead to an unforgettable moment right then and there.
Exactly. But spontaneity also means sometimes one person isn't in the mood. Dealing with rejection gracefully.
Oh, yes. When your partner is just totally knackered. PG Sebastian has some really powerful advice on how not to react.
Crucial advice. Don't sulk, don't threaten, don't pick a fight or start crying.
Learn to negotiate instead.
Right. Maybe you get a rain check. Maybe, as he suggests, you trade a sex-free week during a crazy busy time for a fun trip later.
Yeah.
Understand that your partner is a whole person, not just a sex machine.
Their no isn't necessarily about you.
Exactly. And finally, Sebastian tackles the mental blocks, freeing the mind from those sociocultural limits we all carry around.
Our upbringing, cultural norms. They often dictate what we think is okay or not okay in bed.
And for the sake of the marriage's confluence, that beautiful idea of two lives merging and flowing together, he encourages couples to be willing to unlearn old hang-ups.
And be open to embracing new things, letting go of those mental inhibitors that don't actually serve the relationship anymore.
We could have incredible experiences if we just let go of some of those ingrained fears.
Which loops us right back to where we started, doesn't it? Communication, receptivity.
Absolutely. Because Sebastian warns, if a partner feels that just asking for a different position or expressing an honest desire is going to land them in an interrogation cell,
They'll just stop asking. They'll shut down.
they'll just, as he puts it, quietly take what you give them and simply endure.
And enduring is the absolute opposite of spice. It's the death of it. So all the toys, the oils, the fancy lingerie, that's only a tiny piece of the puzzle.
A very small piece. The real work, the holistic solution, is in how you relate to each other every single day outside the bedroom.
So let's reaffirm that core message from PG Sebastian's approach. Most of the solution for spicing things up, it's about rebuilding and maintaining a solid, healthy, trusting relationship first.
Get that base right, get the communication flowing, the trust solid, and the rest, the fun, the exploration, it becomes so much easier. A joy, even.
And here's maybe the final thought PG Sebastian leaves us with, something to really chew on. No two sex lives are the same. Or should be.
Right. Don't try to clone what you think someone else's amazing sex life looks like. It's not about imitation.
It's about you and your partner looking inward, together, finding what works uniquely for you two.
And then perfecting that shared, unique experience. That's where the real sustainable spice comes from.
Powerful stuff. So if these ideas have resonated, if you feel like this holistic thinking is something your partnership needs,
Then dedicate the time. Maybe explore more of PG Sebastian's work on this. Book a session, perhaps, with your partner to really give these deep, intangible things the attention.